Bonjour ou bien bonsoir, et comment nous y est, tout le monde qui pourrait écouter vidéo et à soi, nous toujours continuer à parler sur ce problème et qui passé aux États-Unis et sur le domaine immigration. Et nous connaissons en pile parler en pile qu'a fait sur le domaine immigration spécialement en Florida actuellement. C'est en Florida nous est là, nous sommes capables de regarder dans la vidéo côté gouverneur Florida côté il prend tout law enforcement qui ça les shérif yo lui prend tout Florida lui mettez ensemble qu'on y a pour commencer à tuer le monde pour capable et commencer déporter monde qui illégal dans le pays. Yo bien parlé, yo dit là on parle de illégal, yo dit que monde qui illégal dans le pays, monde ça il pas fait rien. Il pas fait rien qui mal, seulement ça le fait, il travaille, il paye taxes. Monde ça, il y a une place pour capable faire des discussions pour voir comment il peut légaliser monde ça dans le pays. Yo parler de monde illégaux, monde qui illégal dans le pays, qui a fait crime et qui a fait ça pas de fait, qui pas respecter la loi pays, monde ça yo a chance, yo dit monde ça aussi supposé retourner la caillou. Mais on parle de ça les côté jail yo, côté prison yo ya, gen pile monde qui dans prison pour ça pas bon, qu'on y a yo pas commencer en dans prison, yo pas commencer en dans prison comment yo ka commencer et faire pousser monde ça yo pour yo retourner la caillou. Ça va veut dire si on d'ailleurs depuis dans prison et depuis c'est dans prison il y a une différence entre prison et en Haïti lors de prison mon ça sont qui fin juger peine ni mon ça avoir dans prison pour payer peine ni. Et l'on parle de en Haïti de même lors dit garde à vie mon par exemple on gèle sur monde qui dans garde à vie il peut pas juger mais mon ça vient pour laguer quand même. Mais pour parler de prison on parle de criminels, ça fait nous te dit les Haïtiens ont parlé des anciens chefs rebelles, Guy Philippe a dédié, Guy Philippe qui est président, qui est évident, mais aux États-Unis, pour les criminels ou pour en prison, monde ça pas occuper aucun poste électif dans un pays sérieux, un pays qui a fonctionné. À ce nous voulons parler, ça qui passé actuellement, nous connaissons tout le pays, tous ces grands États et tête chaud et tout le monde presque c'est dans marron, tout le monde presque pas sorti va prendre la rue. Actuellement on a parlé de Florida pendant ma parole voilà et n'a pas le temps de qui ça shérif yo a dit qui ça de qui parwa et gouverneur ba yo qui ça capable faire et comment est capable déporter au monde yo bien parler en tous les cas yo tout si moun nan pas fait un bagage qui mal li illégal dans pays moun ça li gen chance pour bal papier pour rester dans pays mais yo pas commencer entrer en dans prison yo dans jail yo ça dépend cause moun nan yo pas commencer brûler moun sa yo pour remettre yo avec immigration pour yo aller dans custody avec yo dans immigration. Et nous parler des dossiers immigration en pile nous parler de lui et nous connaît actuellement le président aux États-Unis qui c'est monsieur Trump et côté un pile exécutif pour être capable de déporter un pile monde dans le pays. Et nous connaissons actuellement le président et Trump encore il vient avec un bagage qui est le gold card et gold card là qui c'est il dit son green card lié mais il et Trump gold card il dit ou capable payer 5 billion dollars et pour capable acheter 4 ça acheter 4 ça moun ça li gon papier légal il capable vivre dans pays mais nous te senti l'elle t'a parlé de ça plus parler de moun qui gen moyen dans mais yo gros business qui capable faire ça parce que nous te dit ça déjà nous pas pensons ti malheureux gen moyen dans mais pour t'acheter ton carte pour tout comme ça c'est tout comme ça dans mais il pas besoin quitter pays pour venir vivre dans pays aux États-Unis. Brothers and sisters, we would like to thank everybody who always support my video, who always support my work, my channel, and everything. Guys, tonight we just talk about the immigration law. Here, right now, we're in Florida. In Florida, right now, the governor of Florida, he give it okay for the law enforcement and the local or the whole Florida. He give them okay. So they can start send people back to the country. It was called illegal immigrant, but they're talking about mostly the illegal immigrant who the criminal. or people who do wrongdoing in the country, people who break the law, people who doing bad thing. But they also say, if you're not doing a bad thing, you're here in the country, illegal, you work, you pay tax. There's a room for discussion. That means all this room, it's like there's a room for improvement. If you're doing something, if you're not doing nothing wrong, you work, you pay tax. They're not going to just take you and send you back. There's a chance they give immigration, or they give it okay. They probably see you, they walked away, and they probably tell you have to contact your lawyer or something. But so think it's not looking good at all, guys. Think it's tough. It's tough now. The whole world is on notice. The whole world is shaking due to the President Donald Trump. He's coming second return 2.0, whatever they call that. Guy is not a joke. And everybody know, we talked about that the other day. He got a gold card. It's a gold card. It's like a green card. It's called $5 billion. You can buy this card, and you come to United States. You can create business. You can work here. That means you're legal, but you have to pay $5 billion. I mean, it's the guy. I mean, to me, it's a lot of money. It's not to me. I think it's a lot of money for everybody. If you have that much money, why would you want to leave your country and come here to the United States, guy? And then once again, guy, I mean, I keep asking that. If you not connect to my channel yet, guy, please, when you walk in, give me the thumbs up, like, and share, and don't forget, guys, subscribe to my channel. And when you does it to me, guy, I will do the same thing. I will subscribe to you also, guy. And guy, thank you so much, guy, for everybody. Thank you so much, guy. So therefore, we stop there. We're gonna let you listen to what the Broward sheriff had to say, and also, guy, we're gonna go to Elon Musk with something called Doge. Elon Musk, Doge, and it's that shake the whole United States, especially the people who work for the federal worker. There's a big, huge problem. If you listen to what Elon Musk say, guy, a lot of things he's saying, it does make sense. A lot of things he say don't make sense. Mesdames et messieurs, nous allons parler un petit peu, nous allons quitter chef vous parler pour capable entendre et qui ça parler, qui ça dit. Et après ça, nous allons chercher moyen pour nous voir côté nous côté Elon Musk a parlé, ça les Doge là et nous ça les Doge là, me penser il attaqué en pile, ça les monde qui travaille dans bureau fédéral pour l'état. L'attaque en pile, mais l'on attendait gen bagay li dit qui make sense, pas vrai, gen bagay li dit qui make sense, et parce que nous te pensé c'est seulement dans petit pays en tant que Haïti et qui gen zombie qui travaille qui touché, gen tout pays dans monde là, gen ces même bagay là, nous pas le faut entendre qui ça Broward sheriff, it's like the whole Florida sheriff, they get together, they gotta work to make sure that the illegal immigrant criminal they go send back to their country, guys. Listen to God. Thank you so much, guys. Donc, pas oublier, si vous pouvez abonner avec channel là, pas oublier, l'homme monter, bon, thumbs up, et like page là, et qui t'ont abonné pour nous connaissons haïtiens. Actuellement, programme Biden, il a gros tête chargée, même TPS là, il parlait de TPS là, mais même pas fin quoi, TPS là sont loyers. Je pense pour le faire changement dans TPS là, la demandé, faut la lutte devant la chambre pour le faire changement. Mais dans le programme Biden, monde qui était venu là-dedans, ça le fait. Il dit, il met en rôle, comme si comment on dit ça dans le bon sens là, il mettait les frères, les frise, il dit, font petit camper, ok, voilà, il mettait rôle, ils font petit camper programme là, pour 6 mois, je pense, jusqu'à mois d'août, parce que de tout le monde ça, même l'autre, depuis monter dans le programme, même l'autre marié avec un citoyen américain, même l'autre marié avec un citoyen américain, il dit, dans le programme, non vini, ou illégal, il voit illégal dans le pays, ça fait, nous te dit, en tout le monde qui vient dans le programme, dans temps prudent, pas prendre la rue, si pas besoin, pas prendre la rue, et faire petit prudent, et si tu travailles le travail, ou à l'église, ou pour acheter un bagage pour petit tout, parce que ça va veut dire n'importe quoi, tu es pour mettre mes sous, mais nous demandons, font-tu prudent, faites-tu prudent, pas essayer, c'est nous-mêmes qui peut-être nous aller, on va le faire attendre, qui ça boit au chef l'a fait, et nous attendons le programme président américain. Il vient avec, il dit, un programme de $5 billions pour acheter une résidence si vous voulez entrer dans le pays aux États-Unis légalement. Mes amis, bagaille tête chargée, bagaille en pile, bagaille vraiment lourd, bagaille en pile, mes amis, et nous pensons, et nous ça déjà vraiment triste, surtout pour un pile haïtien, nous connaissons qui quitte Haïti pour ça aller pour problème d'insécurité, côté gang, ils ont tué, moun, ils font pas quatre bagailles, moun ça ont quitté pays, ils pas attendre des bruits balles encore, qu'on y a, ils vendent ça au gagné, yo pense yo ta vini aux États-Unis pour problème, peut-être qu'on a ti la paix dans tête yo, ou bien on ti la paix dans enfant yo, et gen moun qui t'a bien vivre dans pays qui quitte pays qui vient aux États-Unis juste pour chercher une façon de capable de sécurité avec famille yo, et puis qu'on y a mais dans qui problème yo vinn tomber dans pays aux États-Unis. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est là pour la première fois ou monter sur channel là, pas oublier, l'on monter sur lui, abonner avec channel là, banon petit thumbs up, dis-nous qui sont pensés de ça qui a passé dans le monde là, nous passé monde là bouleversé et bagay yo en pile, bagay yo vraiment compliqué, bagay yo pas gain plaisir là-dedans yo, qu'on y a demandé faut gain 5 billions de dollars, ben 5 milliards de dollars pour entrer dans le pays aux États-Unis. Bagay yo triste en pile, même aux États-Unis, bagay yo triste parce que y a révoqué en pile monde qui travaille dans le bureau fédéral. Nous allons entendre Elon Musk de qui ça t'a parlé en nos côtés pour un chef là qui ça y a petit Florida chef.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being with us today. As you can see, this is the Florida Sheriff's Association, and many of our esteemed colleagues are with us today. So I welcome all of my sheriffs with us. We serve together to keep.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Non pas moi, c'est Asoya, mon ap gade la yo, c'est association shérif dans toute Florida. Nous dit tout le monde, nous bien contents parce que ou là ensemble avec nous aujourd'hui, les 10 jeunes ap gade là, John Well là, ouais c'est tout Florida shérif yo qui là ensemble, nous venons chita pour nous connaître qui ça n'a fait, comment nous avons commencé avec programme gouverneur DeSantis déportation illégaux, immigrants et criminels.
Florida safe, and I'm going to turn it over now to our president, Sheriff Pramell. Sheriff.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning, everybody. First, I want to start off by thanking Governor DeSantis, Senate President Ben Albritton, and
moi-même c'est président shérif dans Florida et moi c'est représenté shérif là dans la chambre et moi voulais dire merci avec gouverneur DeSantis et pour opportunité qui est au bon pour nous capable mettre tête ensemble pour nous capable faire Florida venir un côté qui safe avec criminels et illégaux immigrants qui dans prison yo. Moi-même c'est président shérif en Floride moi.
Speaker of the House, Danny Perez. Since these immigration discussions have started with the special session, they brought us right in and gave us a seat at the table to discuss all this. And
depuis les problèmes immigration entré sous président Donald Trump et yo fait gouverneur ben nous une opportunité pour nous tout chita sous table ensemble pour nous capable discuter pour nous connaître comment nous ka kembe Florida safe avec moun qui fait ça pas de faire et kidnapper petit monde qui fait ça pas de faire qui kembe fille qui fait carré avec Sophie moun qui voilà faire moun qui fait ça c'est pas pour faire yo ben nous opportunité pour nous capable discuter sous table là ensemble pour nous capable parler pour nous connaître comment nous ka commencer nettoyer Florida.
And now we have the laws that are passed. A lot of you have heard 287G. Well, 287G falls under.
Qu'on y a, nous d'accord que la loi a passé et ça le Parlement, il a passé loi, il y a un code qui est le 287G et c'est de ça la parler. Nous pas quitter le parler pour nous capable d'entendre 287G à qui ça lié.
Under Title 8 of the U.S. Immigration Code. And it outlines several different programs in which local law enforcement can use to assist.
Okay. 287G et code 8 et dit c'est loi immigration qui est passé et qui gagne pile programme là-dedans capable pour police locale yo l'homme et shérif yo pour capable mettre tout ensemble pour connaître comment yo ka commencer retirer moun dans pays et si nous regardons pour nous un chef qui pas d'accord à ça qu'a fait là en pile il est très fâché regardez monsieur noir ça pour il pas content du tout mais c'est presque crier ça va dire tout qui chef qui méchant non il y a qui chef qui est bon il y a pile qui chef qui dans chef là c'est pasteur oui
ICE and HSI. One of those programs is what's called the Warrant Service Officer Program. This allows us to train our deputies within the jails.
Il dit comme ça, programme ça, il y a plus de programme là-dedans. Il y a un programme qui est là, il mettait warrant comme si, et ça a dit, il mettait une sorte de mandat de des gens qui fait ça pas bon dans le pays, qu'on a pas le training officiel pour connaître comment pour faire. Après ça, pour capable de transpirer le by ICE, qui c'est police immigration.
They get special certifications and they can serve warrant detainers that ICE issues out to those criminal illegals that come into our jails. And I am very proud to report, through the hard work of the sheriffs and the staff at the Florida Sheriff's Association.
Il dit yo ba un spécial training pour yo capable connaître avec ICE yo qui c'est capable venir ensemble ICE la mettait comme si il mettait un mandat qui mettait un mandat de des monde qui est légal dans pays qui fait ça pas bon qu'on y a training police ça yo connaît comment yo prendre monde ça yo ka mener yo by ICE pour yo capable mettre dans détention qui c'est bagaille détention qui veut dire côté immigration et qui nous dit gel immigration yo kembo là après s'il y a des poteaux après ça descend de cas il y a des poteaux pour capable déporter.
All 57 sheriff-run jails and 10 county-run jails.
Il y a 57 police sheriff qui capable dans jail là gagner 10 côté nous te dit garde à vue pour mettre mon yo.
And that all of the jails will be up and running.
Yo dit toute prison pour commencer à travailler avec tout sheriff ça.
Like I stated, it allows them, when somebody is arrested and booked into our jail, if they have a detainer on them, ICE is notified. When that person is ready to leave the jail, our staff can serve that warrant on them and hold them
Livre fait
for
connaître
48 hours.
les moun nan vin nan
Then ICE
prison
comes and takes them
si
into custody.
ICE immigration met un warning derrière lui comme si on mandat d'elle pour dire pour arrêter yo même y a training pour capable mener yo by ICE.
Another program under the 287G is the Street Task Force program.
Gon le programme en bas 287 GIA et you gon test your by et pour moun yo capable connaître qui moun ti gen run ça elle by mandat d'immigration yo ka arrêter.
And we come across illegals that have detainers, we're able to do those investigations and turn them over to ICE. We've been working diligently with the sheriffs so everybody's MOA can get signed, and we are working on the future training for that as well. So with the governor's lead, we're following behind, and your sheriffs are ready to go. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to our legislative chair, Sheriff Bob Baltieri.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bob Baltieri. I'm the sheriff.
Merci. Bonjour tout le monde.
Chair of the FSA Legislative Committee. So illegal immigration is a problem.
Moun ki illégal dans pays son problème yo est.
It's a problem for every village, every town, every
C'est pour tout petit village yo, tout côté, tout petit city yo, tout state là.
It's a problem for a number of reasons, but at the forefront,
Yo kon paquet raison qui fait son problème yo est.
those in our country who illegally
Yo nan pays illégal.
those who victimize our citizens,
Y a fait tout ça dans ce dit déjà. Yo ka déjà paquet bagay. Eleviten.
This is wrong. It's not okay. And there are some people out there, and we understand this, who espouse empathy for some people in our country illegally because of decades of failed federal immigration policies. Those are people who have been here for years, albeit illegally, who have assimilated into our communities, work in some cases, and in some cases even pay taxes, and those people commit no crimes. And there is room for discussion about that.
That I understand
there is no
that.
room for discussion about those who are in this country illegally, who are victimizing our citizens, who are committing crimes, who are disobeying our laws. There's no room for discussion about that. And these people need to go, and they need to go today. There's also no room for discussion about the people who come here illegally, go through the immigration process. A judge orders them deported. They are deported, and then they come back again illegally, like the illegal who twice came back, who killed one of our deputies in September of 2022. That guy, as I said, was twice previously deported back to Honduras. He came back a third time illegally through Eagle Pass, Texas, and he killed Pinellas County Sheriff's Deputy Michael Hartwood. There's also no room for discussion about the 1.4 million people in our country today with active, final deportation orders issued by a judge who also issued a warrant for their removal, and these people simply flick their finger at the court and they haven't left. What I say to that is just no. This is not okay. From everything we've heard, seen, and been a part of with the federal government, their priority is apprehending and deporting as quickly as possible those who are criminally illegal,
Mbatra di encore, mgabe la. C'est justement, va yo douol, va yo difficile.
previously deported and come back again, like Deputy Hartwood's killer, and those who are ignoring a judge's order to leave after they had their day in court. There's a number of ways that sheriffs and other local law enforcement agencies can help ICE, and we should help ICE, because ICE does not have the resources to do it alone, and it's our constituents, the people who elected us, to keep them safe, who are being victimized by these criminal illegals. Now, sheriffs work closely with ICE now, and according to ICE, the most pressing need they have is for us to deliver to them people who are booked into our jails, who are clearly illegals and have clearly committed crimes, so that these people are deported and not released back into the community to yet commit more crime. We do that, as Sheriff Kamel mentioned, by honoring the immigration detainer requests.
Guy, thank you for this side. So we're going to go to Elon Musk.
Example of those up here,
see what he said.
to the left, and one of them is the detainer itself, which is the request, and the warrant is what gives us the authority, the legal authority to hold these people. And we're working with ICE to honor these immigration detainer requests, and we have going back to 2017. But back in 2017, we ran into a problem, and there was a legal problem. But we worked with then ICE Director Tom Homan, and we came up with a legal solution where our deputies in the jails across Florida would be deputized under 287G to serve these ICE arrest warrants that go with the detainers. We're able to implement this in some of Florida's county jails before President Trump left office the first time, but not in all counties.
Illegal border crossings have plummeted by numbers that nobody's actually ever seen before. It's much more than 100%. And we've unleashed American energy at levels that we'll soon be reporting. We think we're going to get it going very quickly. We have incredible people on the energy front. I think we have really great people on every front. I'll let you know if they're not good, but I think they really are. And we're fighting every day to get the prices down. The inflation is stopping slowly, but part of the reason it's stopping is because of high interest rates and other problems that we inherited. But we have to get the prices down, not the inflation down, the prices of eggs and various other things. Eggs are a disaster. The Secretary of Agriculture is going to be showing you a chart that's actually mind-boggling what's happened, how low they were with us and how high they are now. But I think we can do something about it, Madam Secretary, and I think you're going to do a fantastic job in that position. You say that Biden ran a very tight administration. They spent money like nobody's ever spent money before, wasted money. The Green New Scam, all of the different things they spent money on. And you've seen that. You've seen that with some of the things that I read in speeches. I read them and people can't believe when I read them. 20 million here, 30 million here for, you know, a little educational course on something, circumcision, right? Circumcision. $20 million to inform the people of such and such a country on other things and other things other than that. So, yeah, those people are, right now we're trying to find out who those people are that haven't responded. Now, there'll be some agencies, like Marco has people within state that are right now doing very classified, very confidential work, and we understand that. We've talked, and, you know, we're being a little more surgical. And Marco's doing a lot of things himself. He's, and some of the secretaries, so we're going to be going to them. We're going to be talking about it today. We're going to ask them to do their own Doge. In other words, they'll look in their group and I spoke with Lee Zeldin, and he thinks he's going to be cutting 65% or so of the
ties as you feel it should be.
Well, not so much monetized. It hasn't been properly run. I get calls from, as an example, companies where they want to hire the #1 student at a school. The person comes from, I get from companies, other than over-regulation, which we took care of, but we're going to have to take care of again because a lot of that was put back on by Biden. But the biggest, so that we're going to keep Bagram. We're going to keep a small force on Bagram. We're going to have Bagram Air Base, one of the biggest air bases. Relies on us 95%. We rely on them 4%. Big difference. And I say Canada should be our 51st state. There's no, and they say, well, we want brevity. You know, we wanted them to do it for time. They took out her answer and they inserted, and you know, probably 1.5 million soldiers have been killed, close to 1.5 million soldiers. Being here, and we put together a great cabinet, and we've had tremendous success. We've been given a lot of credit for having a very successful first month, and we want to make that many months and years, actually. Then we're going to have many good months, and we're going to have many good years, I hope, and we're going to solve a lot of problems. We're doing very well with Russia, Ukraine. President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. It's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. And I want to thank Howard and Scott for the job you guys did in putting it together. Really did an amazing job. And that'll be on rare earth and other things. And as you know, we're in for probably $350 billion. Europe is in for $100 billion. And that's a big difference. So we're in for probably 3 times as much, and yet it's very important to everybody, but Europe's very close. We have a big ocean separating us, so it's very important for Europe, and they hopefully will step up and do maybe more than they're doing, and maybe a lot more. The previous administration put us in a very bad position, but we've been able to make a deal where we're going to get.
Is it your understanding and expectation when you post a directive on X that the cabinet secretaries will follow that order? Because several agencies have instructed employees that this is voluntary or not to respond.
Yeah, well, so I guess it was like last week.
We would expect that, and that's the way it works. So I'd like to have Elon Musk please say a few words.
Okay, thank you, Elon. Thank you, Mr. President. I actually just call myself a couple tech support here because this is actually, as crazy as it sounds, that is almost a literal description of the work that the Doge team is doing, is helping fix the government computer systems. Many of these systems are extremely old. They don't communicate. There are a lot of mistakes in the systems. The software doesn't work. So we are actually tech support. It's ironic, but it's true. The overall goal here with the Doge team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rate, just the interest on the national debt, now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending like over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here. And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I mean, I like to step them up, you know. But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done. I'm confident at this point, knock on wood, you know, knock on my wooden head, it's got a lot of wood up there, that we can actually find $1 trillion in savings. That would be roughly 15% of the $7 trillion budget. And obviously that can only be done with the support of everyone in this room. And I'd like to thank everyone for your support. Thank you very much. This can only be done with your support. So it's really, Doge is a support function for the president and for the agencies and departments to help achieve those savings and to effectively find 15% in reduction in fraud and waste. And we bring the receipts. Some people say, like, well, is this real? Just go to doge.gov. We line item by line item, we specify each item. So, and I should say, we will make mistakes. We won't be perfect, but when we make a mistake, we'll fix it very quickly. So, for example, with USAID, one of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately. and there was no interruption. But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires saving $4 billion per day, every day, from now through the end of September. But we can do it, and we will do it. Thank you.
Would you have any questions of Elon while we're on the subject of Doge? Because we'll finish off with that. And if you would have any questions, please ask. You could ask me or Elon. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Musk. I just wanted to ask you that President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going, and if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy? We have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled. So go ahead, Elon. Grateful.
And President Trump has put together, I think, the best cabinet ever. Literally. So, and I do not give false praise. This is an incredible group of people. I don't think that such a talented team has actually ever been assembled. I think it's literally the best cabinet that the country's ever had, and I think the company should be incredibly appreciative of the people in this room.
Oh, I'm tired of that.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. Musk. Are there about half of the government employees so far appear to have responded to your request for what they've been doing over the past week? Is there a timeline in place for next moves for people being fired, and when in there do people expect to see results from that?
Yes. Well, to be clear, Nick, I think that email perhaps was misinterpreted as a performance review, but actually it was a pulse check review. Do you have a pulse? Do you have a pulse and 2 neurons? So if you have a pulse and 2 neurons, you can reply to an email. This is, I think not a high bar, is what I'm saying. This is, anyone can accomplish this. But what we are trying to get to the bottom of is we think there are a number of people on the payroll who are dead, which is probably why we can't respond.
What Elon Musk say tonight, and he say the way the federal worker is working here in the United States, if they don't do what he was doing now, s'il pas fait ça l'a fait dans moment ça là pour Jean pays à aller là, ressemble grand pile zombie qui travaille dans pays aux États-Unis, en pile zombie a travail, il y a ba au chèque, il y a touché chèque. Quand il y a Elon Musk, il vient créer un système que tout le monde capable de connaître. Elon Musk, pas de question dans ça, son équipe, on est très très intelligent dans le monde là. Et si on a des plus gros cyber security, et son équipe sécurité dans le là, il n'est pas gagné, quand tout chita la caïwa, depuis qu'il information, les données sur le capable de voir nous, il est capable de tout soit fait dans la caille. Il dit s'il pas fait ça la fait à partir de 2026 qu'a vient là, pays aux États-Unis capable faire bankruptcy, capable pas gon good nan mais encore pays a tomber tête en bas sans l'argent, monde ka tomber dans courir. Mais il dit ça la fait si yo quitter le fait li sans problème, il capable serrer près de 4 millions de dollars par jour jusqu'à 2026, il va garanti pays a presque sorti dans dette. Est-ce que c'est vrai? Est-ce que c'est pas vrai? Nous pas connaît, c'est yo connaît, ça veut dire est-ce que c'est vérité ou bien est-ce que c'est pas vérité? On faut attendre toujours.
And some people who are not real people, like they're literally fictional individuals that are collecting paychecks. Well, somebody's collecting paychecks on a fictional individual, so we're literally trying to figure out, are these people real? Are they alive? And can they write email? Which I think is a reasonable expectation for the American public would have at least that expectation of someone in the public sector.
Mr. Musk, roughly 1 million employees.
It's not a high bar, guys, come on.
Roughly 1 million employees have responded so far to this email. Does that mean million or so federal employees now risk being terminated. And is it your understanding and expectation when you post a directive on X that the cabinet secretaries will follow that order? Because several agencies have instructed employees that this is voluntary or not to respond.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I guess it was like last week, the president encouraged me via Truth Social and also via a phone call to be more aggressive. And I was like, okay, you know, yes, sir, Mr. President, we'll do that. The president, Madam Chief, I do what the president asks. And I said, can we send out an email to everyone just saying what did you get done last week? And the president said yes, so it did that. You know, we got a partial response. We're going to send another email. But our goal is not to be capricious or unfair. We want to give people every opportunity to send an email. And the email could simply be, what I'm working on is too sensitive or classified to describe. In fact, literally just that would be sufficient. I think this is just common sense.
And what is your target number for how many workers, employees you're looking to cut total?
We wish to keep everyone who is doing a job that is essential and doing that job well. But if the job is not essential or they're not doing the job well, they obviously should not be on the public payroll.
I'd like to add, wait a minute. I'd like to add that those million people that haven't responded, though, Elon, they are on the bubble. You know, I wouldn't say that we're thrilled about it. You know, they haven't responded. Now, maybe they don't exist. Maybe we're paying people that don't exist. Don't forget, we just got here. This group just got here. But those people are on the bubble, as they say. You know, maybe they're going to be gone. Maybe they're not around. Maybe they have other jobs. Maybe they moved and they're not where they're supposed to be. A lot of things could have happened. I wouldn't say that Biden ran a very tight administration. They spent money like nobody's ever spent money before, wasted money. The Green New scam, all of the different things they spent money on. And you've seen that. You've seen that with some of the things that I read in speeches. I read them and people can't believe when I read them. 20 million here, 30 million here for, you know, a little educational course on something, circumcision, right? Circumcision. $20 million to inform the people of such and such a country on other things and other things other than that. So, yeah, those people are, right now we're trying to find out who those people are that haven't responded. Now, there'll be some agencies, like Marco has people within state that are right now doing very classified, very confidential work, and we understand that, and we've talked, and, you know, we're being a little more surgical. And Marco's doing a lot of things himself. He's and some of the secretaries. So we're going to be going to them. We're going to be talking about it today. We're going to ask them to do their own Doge. In other words, 100.
That seems unclear tonight, with President Zelensky saying the agreement doesn't include security guarantees that America will help stop Russia breaking any future ceasefire deal. In fact, Mr. Trump, at his first cabinet meeting since retaking the White House, said it was Europe, not the United States, that should be responsible for Ukraine's security. President Zelensky is due to fly to Washington on Friday. We'll be live in Kiev, but first, Sarah Smith in Washington as our top story.
President Trump kicked off his first cabinet meeting by announcing an imminent deal with Ukraine. It's not a peace deal, but a financial deal to benefit America.
President Zelensky is going to be coming on Friday. That's now confirmed, and we're going to be signing an agreement, which will be a very big agreement. The previous administration put us in a very bad position, but we've been able to make a deal where we're going to get our money back, and we're going to get a lot of money in the future.
More than $350 billion for America, he says, without making any promises to protect Ukrainian territory.
Well, I'm not going to make security guarantees beyond very much. We're going to have Europe do that because it's in, you know, we're talking about Europe as the next door neighbor. I know that UK has said and France has said that they volunteered to put so-called peacekeepers on the site, and I think that's a good thing.
Ukraine is rich in rare earth minerals, and President Trump wants a large stake in the future exploitation of these resources to repay the military support the US has already given to Ukraine. President Zelensky wants guarantees for the future security of his country.
Without future security guarantees, we will not have really just peace, and we will not have really ceasefire, what Trump spoken about. And if we don't have it, nothing will work.
Donald Trump has dealt with Vladimir Putin many times before, and recently spoke to him on the phone about Ukraine. Today he described Mr. Putin as a smart and a cunning man who he believes will agree a deal over Ukraine.
Do you have to make concessions, President Putin?
Yeah, he will. He's going to have to. And I believe that because we got elected, that war will come to an end. And I also believe if we didn't get elected, if this administration didn't win the election by a lot, that war would go on for a long time, and he would want to take the whole thing.
Russia will not get to keep all the territory it has seized by force, suggested Mr. Trump.
We're going to do the best we can to make the best deal we can for both sides, but for Ukraine, we're going to try very hard to make a good deal so that they can get as much back as possible.
President Trump's ambitions for making peace also extend to the Middle East.